I promised my patrons they could send me 2 armour suggestions each and I would review them all, and I also promised you on the community tab that I would review your most upvoted comments. So let's continue with that, because my gosh, you all love a tier list. Top tier is I'd wear it. It looks good and comfortable enough that I would consider wearing it as a costume. It makes sense within the story, and in context it looks reasonably protective, even if in real life it's actually made of cardboard and glitter. Pretty good is for things which are mostly solid but have a couple of weird choices or just look a bit off for some reason. Not actually armour is where we shove all of the stuff that I am asked to review, but that's not actually armour, like say Princess Leia's metal bikini or Samus's Zero suit. Still not over those hideous boots though, Samus. What can I say, it can be quite a useful category. Moving on down, we have could be worse. Either it looks okay but wouldn't really be protective at all, or it would be kind of protective but looks terrible. And our bottom tier, and everyone's favourite tier, to the point that some of you have asked for it on a mug, just stab me now, because that's what would happen if you went into battle wearing this. Basically, it's supposed to be armour, but it's actually just an active hindrance, or so ugly that I can't get over it, or contains a lot of really weird gaps. That happens a lot. Let's go. Aziraphale and Crowley in Good Omens. Now obviously I cannot speak to the historical accuracy of the armour because YouTube has like other people for that, but look, serious full plate with all the trimmings, including mail. Lots of mail. It looks fairly well articulated, which is always important for movement, and it looks good from a character perspective too. You've got the very clear colour differentiation between Aziraphale and Crowley, obviously, and you've got stuff like Crowley's demonic toes being extremely pointy and Aziraphale's angelic toes being somewhat less pointy, and of course Aziraphale's white and cream cape, flamboyantly unnecessary and impractical, which is very Aziraphale because he can just miracle it clean. Top marks. I'd wear that. And I'd wear that as well. Batman in Batman Begins. Somewhat infamously, the Batman Begins suit was so restrictive that Christian Bale could hardly move in it at all. And while filming for The Dark Knight Rises, he needed to take off his cowl on a semi-regular basis because he was seeing stars, like he was feeling faint. It was not good. So if we're being a doylist about this, then non-diegetically speaking, we should just stab him now, preferably in the back, because he can't turn his head to see you, or move very well, or even breathe comfortably. If we're only considering his in-universe flexibility, then due to the quick cuts and general darkness, we seem to be under the impression that he can move around all right. You could argue that from a strictly diegetic perspective, it could be worse, but I'm gonna go with just stab me now because I feel like that's the fairer representation of how restrictive it was. Regardless of whether or not it looked cool, I cannot look past the fact that he cannot look past 15 degrees either way. Conan the Barbarian. I get asked to review this a lot, mostly in a "ha! Gotcha! Conan's armour is skimpy too!" kind of way. But clearly these people have never actually watched one of my tier lists because this is not actually armour. He's wearing pants and a headband. Pants and a headband. And some leather things which look a bit like bracers or van braces, I suppose, but you're really pushing it to call that armour. Let me attempt to illustrate the difference between these categories with 2 completely different pictures. This one is not actually armour. I wouldn't wear it while going into battle either, but you know, not actually armour. This one is just stab me now, because it's clearly trying to be armour given the amount of, I assume that's metal, on her body, but it's just failing really hard at it. Okay, great. So Conan, clearly not actually armour, in the same way that Grace Jones's outfit in Conan the Destroyer, also not actually armour. There is of course this stuff, pretty good. I mean, they've made an attempt at historical accuracy. You know, it's fairly well covered, but you have to balance being able to move with heat. Moving on. Leliana? Well, I found this picture. Why is the armour aesthetic we seem to be going for here sexy schoolgirl? We've got what looks like bearskin under leather and what looks like bearskin under metal. Never a fun time. And not even a piece of cloth under the arms. Seriously, why is the arm that bends to draw the bow covered all the way down with armour, whereas the arm that is straight to hold out the bow, not so much? Just stab me now. This concept art, although it looks uncomfortably tight for a real person who has to breathe, you do at least have more coverage. Kayle from League of Legends. Okay, full disclosure, this is one of those outfits that to me looks super cool until you start thinking, but how would I put this together for a cosplay? And then it all kinds of falls apart. I appreciate the coolness factor, and I appreciate the color scheme, and of course I appreciate the helmet, you know, it's me. But I must ask, what material is this? And what material is this? Are they meant to be the same? Because they look the same, but clearly they cannot be. The chest piece is obviously meant to be solid, and the gloves are fully articulated like they're made of cloth. This version has the brilliant oversized shoulders that always remind me of Warhammer, but at least, you know, you can see that there's cloth under there. You know, I think I'd give the red and gold one and I'd wear it because it does look fun and it does have a helmet. I know it's got the giant shoulders, but she's probably magic, so you can probably fudge that a little. The purple, white and gold one though, I mean, I'm gonna give it a could be worse because I have seen much worse, but it's just a little bit too nonsensical, even though it also kind of looks cool. Lingqi from Dynasty Warriors 9. So a friend of mine asked for this, and when I said, why? He said, well, Jill, I feel like you would have something to say about this one. And boy do I. I mean, the top half of this one I would rate pretty good, even though it doesn't have any head protection and it does look a bit unrealistically tight, and she does have a big shield, so that's always good. But from like the hips down, it's just a hot mess. Is that leather underwear? Or worse, is that metal underwear? The bottom half drags us all the way down to just stab me now territory. So now you know. The 2021 version of Macbeth with Denzel Washington. Ordinarily I would say my kingdom for a helmet, but he is meant to be a 17th century Scottish chap, and I think they might have been basing their outfits on this guy, picture C, who is a 16th century Scottish chap, so, you know, we're in the ballpark. I mean, if nothing else, it covers pretty well and it looks comfy. I think because it's a theatre adaptation, even if it is a film, I'd still wear it, because I do just give theatre a little bit more leeway, because covering the actors' faces is just tricky and generally not a very good idea. As I say at my stage combat classes, this is the moneymaker. Sisters of Battle from Warhammer 40k. Okay, these are reasonably workable. I'm not sure about this one. Basically, the thing that's giving me pause here is the leather corset. Is the leather corset just for support? In which case, okay, that means it's probably bendy enough that you have range of motion. But if you're supposed to be using it for protection, if it's stiff enough to be protective, it's probably too stiff for you to bend forwards or sideways at all. The major things that stop me from giving this one the highest rating are that metal fleur-de-lis and the sensor that's dangling between her legs like it's a cat bell. If the fleur-de-lis is actually metal, that's not going to bend, and so neither can you. And the sensor that looks like a giant cat bell around her waist is really going to get in the way if she leaves it there. That is not a good place to have it if you're just going to be walking around, or especially if you're going to be fighting. I mean, if it's an extra weapon, I get it, but just don't put it in front of your legs when you're not using it. That's just asking to trip up. But at least we have cloth here that's actually cloth, and so it's not a self-castration plate. Dual wielding two single-handed weapons means that range of motion is going to be a little bit less of an issue, and so you can get away with those shoulders. I would not wear it, and we really need to move that sensor, but you know what? Pretty good. Last up, we have Mordred from Excalibur. Dang. I reviewed Morgana from Excalibur in an earlier video and correctly guessed that she was, in fact, not actually wearing armor. But Mordred, boy, he is superbly extra and I am here for it. He is gold-plated, he's got this Greek tragedy-looking helmet/mask on him. There is a woman in this picture throwing glitter at him. I mean, yes, it looks a bit 80s, but you know, it was the 80s, so what can you really do about that? I have to tell you, I'm just here for this level of extra, for this clearly over-the-top evil character. I'd wear it, my friends. I really would. If you'd like to see me reviewing a different collection of costumes/armor, then there is a link next to my face. And if you're a patron or channel member, then you should look that episode up because there is an extended version, which I think you will enjoy. There isn't an extended version of this video, but if you're a patron or channel member, you should go watch the bonus video, which is about the thing which I'm doing, which isn't going to show up on YouTube for a couple of months, but I'm quite excited about it, so I made a video about it for you. Victory is mine. Victory is mine. I drink from the keg of glory, Donna. Bring me the finest muffins and bagels in all the land. See you soon!